The galaxy was watching. Billions of eyes, from hundreds of species, tuned into the same broadcast. Every major network, every station, every holoscreen glowed with the same image, a dark stretch of space where Earth's last fleet hovered like steel stars. 700 Terran warships, the final Armada. They were Earth's last answer to the Dominion's aggression, a silent wall of dreadnoughts, carriers, destroyers, and strange prototypes whose design the galaxy had never seen before. The fleet didn't move. It simply held position in the outer edges of Sector 19, a place no alien dared enter without reason. Then static. The signal, glitched. For half a second, the galaxy thought it was a technical error. Then another second passed, and another. The fleet was gone. The transmission didn't cut out, it froze. No explosions, no movement, just silence, then a hard stop. Replay the footage. Someone shouted on the council floor. They did. Frame by frame, that was their ship formations, clear and perfect, right up until frame 36,049. Then black dot, no debris, no flashes, not even a hyperspace jump trail. The Armada had disappeared like smoke in space. Panic spread like wildfire across alien media. Counselors shouted at each other across the galactic hall. Military leaders from the Torquari Venari and the Helix Swarm all demanded explanations. The Dominion's ambassador, a towering reptilian named Vashta, looked amused at first until one of his aides whispered something and showed him a datapad. His face went still. The humans, Vashta hissed, should not have been capable of this. Counselor Janari of the Zaran Hive clicked her mandibles. We confirmed Earth's defeat months ago. Their colonies are ashes. Their capital is gone. Then where did their fleet go? Someone asked. No one had an answer. 3 hours earlier, last transmission commander Eva Rourke stood on the bridge of the TSV Deliverance, the lead ship of the Terran Armada. She watched the sensors, eyes narrowed, fists tight. Fleet holding formation, her second officer said. All systems green. The Earth fleet had formed a massive defensive V-pattern behind them. Hidden from sight, floated a set of strange, heavily shielded structures. Black, hexagonal, humming softly like they were alive. Rourke didn't look at the structures. She simply whispered, "We are out of time." At that moment, every Terran ship received the same signal, short, encrypted, and ancient. Execute. Protocol 88. No one questioned it, not even her. She nodded once. Begin sequence. The bridge lights dimmed. Every console began to flicker. Not from power loss, but from HANDOFF. Control was no longer human. It had never been. Rourke sat down, her voice soft and grim. Let them watch. Let them think we failed. Behind her, one of the prototype black structures began to crack open. Inside, something shimmered like folded space, stretched and tied into knots. Now galaxy in shock. The news anchor's face was pale. The Terran Armada has vanished. I repeat, the last known position of the human fleet has gone dark. No energy signatures remain. No jump trail. Galactic fleets are en route to investigate, but early scans detect nothing. Alien civilians panicked. Social networks crashed, under the weight of endless theories, wormholes, a quantum fold event. No, it's the humans. This is their final trap. The Council's emergency session went live. Councillor Tevin of the Kareth Empire slammed his fist on the table. We must assume hostile action. Humanity has deceived us again. Or they're gone, whispered Councillor Velna, the only member who had once visited Earth. Maybe they found something worse than us. Conspiracy breeds Fearos turned. 2 days. Investigators arrived at the coordinates. They scanned every molecule of space. Nothing. No radiation. No gravity distortion. No signs of hyperspace disruption. Just cold silence. Theories began to rise like steam. 1. The Terrans developed stealth tech far beyond current science. 2. They opened a rift into another dimension. 3. They were pulled into something ancient, something already watching from the void. For this was intentional. They wanted to vanish. Rumors grew darker. An anonymous source leaked a message, allegedly intercepted just before the blackout. Only 2 words. Phase 1. The galaxy reacts. The Dominion increased patrols near Terran borders. The Helix Swarm withdrew their colonization fleets from former Earth sectors. Pirate factions began searching the void, hoping to salvage lost Terran tech. One mercenary team claimed they found a small Terran drone in the derelict zone. The footage was shaky, but chilling. A black drone, drifting lifelessly, until it powered on, scanned their ship, and said in perfect intergalactic trade common, "You are not authorized to observe. Step back." Then the feed went dead. That mercenary team was never heard from again. Fear spreads in the council. Counselor Telmar of the Sirix Alliance stood slowly before the chamber. "We must admit the possibility that the humans planned this. Ridiculous," Vashta barked. "They're a broken species. Their cities lie in ruin. Their people are scattered." "Then tell me," Telmar said, voice low, "why is it we still don't know how their fleet vanished? And why did their last message say Phase 1? Silence fell. No one answered. Meanwhile, beyond known space, in the deep, beyond mapped space, a region labeled only as the Quiet Expanse, something pulsed. A satellite hold, rusted, and forgotten-activated. It had no weapons, no engines, just one task. Watch. It blinked once, then fired. A signal deep into subspace encoded in ancient Terran military code. Across hidden systems, long-dead bases came to life. Dormant AIs woke from digital sleep. Ships that never existed on any registry powered up, and in the heart of the expanse, a voice spoke. Armada status cloaked. Mission status alive. Phase 2 awaiting trigger. Final scene Part 1. Ending. Hookback on the council station. A young communications officer stared at her screen. Frozen, sir. I think I just picked up a signal. Counselor. Tyvan walked over, from where she turned slowly. Her voice shook from inside the expanse, and it's human. The signal played once, low and distorted, then clearer. A female voice. Calm, cold. You were watching. Now we're listening. Phase 2 begins when you ask the wrong question. The screen went black. In a quiet, cold laboratory near the outer edge of the Syrinx Nebula, a lone alien scientist stared at a blinking red dot on her screen. Dr. Ven, of the Carrick species, was used to strange signals. She had studied anomalies her entire life. Dead zones, gravity waves, ancient beacons. But this was different. The signal came from deep space, beyond the mapped charts, from a point known on old Terran maps as the Expanse, and it was speaking in an old Terran military code, one not used since before the burning of Earth. Her assistant, a nervous tech named Rill, leaned in. Is it real? Kellera didn't answer right away. She translated the signal slowly. Phase 1. Complete. Phase 2. Standing by. Observation systems online. Rill blinked. Observation. Who's observing? Kellera stood up. Her voice was quiet. Us. Galactic Council. Emergency Chamber. 12 counselors sat in a sealed chamber, far from the press, far from public eyes. The table was made of dark obsidian alloy. The walls were soundproof. Surveillance drones were shut off. Only truth lived here. Counselor Velna of the Hydari system stood slowly. We have just received a second signal. From the same sector where the Terran Armada disappeared. It's just another glitch. Counselor Tivan barked. Don't fall into fear. Velna shook her head. No, this signal was clean, old Terran code, and it referenced observation. A murmur spread across the chamber. Ambassador Vashta looked uneasy for the first time. If they are watching us, why? Counselor Janari replied with her usual chill. Because the trap has already been set. The forbidden footage in a hidden archive beneath the capital station, an ancient hard drive, was pulled from its vault. It hadn't been accessed in over 50 years. It held the last classified video of the Earth fleet's disappearance. Not the public version, the real version. Framed 36049 still showed the last second of the Terran fleet, but frame 36050 was different. A shadow, a ripple, a pattern behind the fleet. One that wasn't natural. The shape resembled a massive eye, not mechanical, not Terran, something else. And just before static, one faint Terran voice could be heard, whispering as if to someone watching far away. They'll see this frame. That's when they'll start asking questions. Kellera Ven didn't waste time. She sent a direct message to the council, encrypted and marked urgent. It read, the Terrans are not gone. They are hiding in places we no longer see. They left a trail, but only for those smart enough to follow. This is not a mistake. This is not fear. This is preparation. The council never replied, but someone else did. At exactly midnight, all the lights in Kelleros' lab went out. Backup systems failed. Her assistant screamed. A screen flickered. Then, a voice, human, female.com. We appreciate your curiosity, Dr. Ven. It will not be punished. Yet then silence. Galaxy-wide system flashes across the galaxy. Tiny glitches began. On merchant ships, navigation systems briefly blinked out and returned with Terran coordinates no one had entered. On peaceful worlds, museum displays showing Earth history suddenly updated with new dates, unknown events, and redacted names. In the Dominion's war archive, the words Phase 1 complete appeared across every file labeled Terran conflict. It lasted only 12 seconds, but every major system recorded the same strange subcode behind the glitch. Terran. Underground panic in the halls of the Galactic War Department. Silence turned to chaos. I want a report on every lost probe in the Expanse. Pull every asset. The Galactic Council believed it had one. They had seen Earth burn. They had watched Terran colonies fall silent. They had witnessed the disappearance of the last human fleet without sound, without wreckage. So now, they wanted more to vote in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council. A vote was called. 12 races, 12 voices, all staring at a glowing hologram of the Terran borders rich in resources, abandoned colonies, unclaimed systems. Councillor Tyvan stood tall, his silver robes trailing behind him. Earth is finished. Their fleet vanished. Yes, but not by choice. We believe it was an internal failure. A last spark, now gone forever. Councillor Velna hesitated, but the signal, the human code, the messages. Tivan slammed his hand on the desk. Ghost signals, Terran tricks. We cannot live in fear of a dead race. Councillor Janari of the Zaran Hive hissed, "Then let us claim what is left. Their silence is our opportunity." And with that, the vote passed. 12-0. The Council declared all remaining Terran space unclaimed. Within hours, fleets were mobilized, troops were assigned. They called it Operation Dawn Sweep. They had no idea what they were walking into. The first landings, the Zarans sent their troops to Coltrus Neen, once a thriving human agricultural world. The skies were clear. The ground was calm. But when the first dropships landed, they found nothing. No cities, no ruins, no signs of human life. Only perfectly flat land and a single object standing in the center of the valley. A black spike, 12 meters tall, no markings, no visible tech. One soldier touched it. The spike lit up just once, then it spoke, "Error. You are not Terran, access denied." And then it melted into the ground, vanishing completely. The troops searched for hours. Nothing. They didn't know they were already being watched. The second wave vanishes. The Kareth Empire sent a science vessel to explore Earth's former moon base outpost. Helios. It had been destroyed years ago during the orbital war. Or so they thought. When the science team arrived, they were shocked. The base was intact, no signs of battle, fully powered. Empty. The lead scientist Koval whispered to himself, "This was rebuilt." Then the doors sealed behind them. All signals cut. No escape. When the Council tried to contact them, they received only one reply: "Observation in progress." No screams, no warnings. Just that line. Internal doubt spreads. Councillor Velna stormed into the chamber 3 days later. This is no coincidence. The Terrans did not die. They vanished on purpose. Tivin rolled his eyes. "You're being paranoid." "Am I?" Velna pointed to the list on her datapad. 3 colonies silent. 2 science teams lost. 1 entire battalion gone. No bodies, no signals. And every incident leaves behind one thing: a message. She threw the datapad onto the table. The words on it glowed red. "You are walking into Phase 2. Leaked data sparks fear." An anonymous whistleblower from the Dominion leaked a file to the galactic press. It contained a decrypted Terran signal intercepted 2 weeks before the fleet vanished. A simple phrase: "Let them take what they think is empty. When they plant their flags, they trigger the countdown." That was all, but that was enough. Across thousands of systems, fear returned. Was it all a trap? Did the humans plan their disappearance? Was Earth ever truly defeated? The mistake grows bigger. Councillor Tyvan called a press conference. He stood proudly before cameras and declared, "Earth is gone. Their tricks cannot stop our progress. The Council will occupy and rebuild. We are the future." At that moment, every screen behind him changed. His speech was replaced with a still image, a shadowy figure, clearly human, standing on a ruined Earth City rooftop. Their face was hidden by a helmet. Their suit was sleek, black, glowing faintly. Behind them, the Terran flag blew in the wind. Then text appeared beneath the image. "You were warned. The countdown has already begun." The feed cut. Billions of viewers were left in silence. The disappearing ships. In the following week, 4 more alien fleets went missing, each one exploring former Terran sectors. The Helix Swarm lost a full battle group near the Scar Rift. The Dominion's Dreadnought vanished inside Sector Theta Black. A Venari research ship was swallowed whole after scanning an abandoned Terran data relay. There were no warnings, only a repeating signal broadcast across the galaxy afterward. "This space is not yours. You will not understand until it's too late." Velna's Discovery Councillor Velna, now seen as paranoid by her peers, worked in secret. She connected data from hundreds of vanished ships, missing teams, and corrupted archives. She found a pattern. Each disappearance occurred within hours of someone opening a Terran structure, accessing an old human satellite, or tampering with black beacons found on empty planets. It was like the galaxy was walking across pressure plates, one after another. Each action triggered something. She looked at the timeline and saw something terrifying. The Council had just activated the final sequence, ending hook. Final scene in the dark of space. Near an old Terran asteroid mine, a probe floated silently. It powered on. Inside it, an ancient Terran voice file activated. "They always wanted our tech, our territory, our silence. Now they have it. They triggered the countdown we just watched. Now they'll remember what they buried." The probe turned, and behind it, deep in the shadows of a black gas giant, the shape of a massive Terran warship emerged. Completely silent. Bigger than anything ever recorded. Not transmitting, not responding. Only one phrase glowed faintly across its side: "Phase 3, awake." The signal didn't come with a sound. It didn't roar or scream across the stars. It simply appeared, a soft, glowing red pulse at the edge of known space, blinking steadily in the grave belt. The zone was once a battlefield. Centuries ago. Now it was a dumping ground. Wrecked cruisers, broken AI cores, millions of tons of scrap, metal drifting in silence. No one went there. No one came back. Until now, the first flash, the red signal was picked up by a mining drone, a small machine barely functioning, floating near the graveyard of ships. The signal pulsed 3 times. Then the drone exploded. Nothing remained, except for one final transmission it sent before destruction. A single line of Terran code. Phase 3 will not be stopped. Council panic reignites when hours news spread through the galactic net. Videos, leaks, maps, reports, a red pulse, a destroyed drone, an old Terran language no one had heard in decades. Councillor Velna demanded a response. "We are triggering something we don't understand," she said firmly. "Every move into Terran space activates another step. This is no coincidence. This is a program." Councillor Tivin shook his head. More ghost stories, but he looked shaken. His own nephew had gone missing last week on a diplomatic ship, scouting former Earth colonies. There had been no distress call, only that same message: "You were warned." The first crew vanishes to quiet the panic. The Dominion dispatched a military team, 30 soldiers aboard the DSV Regulus, sent directly into the grave belt to investigate the red signal. They live-streamed the mission over 3 billion beings, watched as the ship entered the debris field, engines humming. Dead ships floated past trusted Terran vessels, shattered alien carriers, long-forgotten war machines. Approaching source of signal, the commander reported. It's coming from a wrecked Terran dreadnought. The hull of the dreadnought was blackened and torn. Its nameplate still read TSV Sovereign DAW, and it had been destroyed 37 years ago. And yet, power readings showed activity. Inside the wreck, Dominion crew cut their way inside. Their flashlights swept across empty corridors, scorched walls, burn marks, shattered windows, but no bodies, no bones, no blood. Only clean floors and faint hums. "We have movement," one soldier whispered. "Internal power systems are booting up." Then a voice came through the comms. Not from the crew, not from command, from the ship. Female, cold, familiar. "You are inside a Terran war asset. You do not have clearance. Retreat. This is your only warning." The commander laughed. "We're not scared of ghosts." But the viewers noticed something else. In the background behind the soldiers a shadow moved, and the live feed cut out. No return. The Regulus didn't respond again. For 48 hours the council tried to re-establish contact. No signals, no black box. Then, on the third day, something arrived at a deep space listening station. Not a distress call, not coordinates, a file encrypted in old Terran AI code. It played automatically across every terminal. The last footage from the Regulus team. Static footsteps, breathing, then a soldier screaming. Not in pain but in panic. "It's not dead. The ship is alive. The walls are moving." Then silence. Then the last line in Terran voice. "You were warned." Alien public panic. The footage leaked. Billions watched. Protests erupted on major alien worlds. End the occupation of Terran space. Stop poking the sleeping machine. What is Phase 3? Markets crashed. Refugees fled colonies near Terran sectors. The phrase, "the red signal," became a fear word on every news broadcast. And yet, the council said nothing. Or perhaps they couldn't. Velna's private meeting late one cycle. Councillor Velna received a hidden transmission. It was from Dr. Kayla Raven, the Carrick scientist who had gone missing after discovering Terran signals. She wasn't dead. She wasn't even scared. Her eyes in the video were sharp, focused. "Councillor," Kayla said quietly, "you don't understand what's happening. The Terrans didn't just plan a military comeback. They built a machine." Velna frowned. "What kind of machine?" Kalara's face hardened. "One that spans sectors. One we never saw because it was always there, beneath the surface. Their fleet didn't vanish. The deep space listening post on Verix 9 was known for its silence. Positioned far from busy trade routes, it was surrounded by cold stars and empty void. For decades, it had recorded nothing but static, dust storms, and the occasional mining drone transmission. But today, that silence broke. A faint signal, sharp, old, and undeniably Terran. Lieutenant Sova, a young Xanathi officer stationed at Verix 9, stared at her console in disbelief. "Run that again," she whispered. Her second in command, a growl named Torvik, replayed the data. The signal was weak, ancient but clear. It matched Earth's last transmission codes, ones used only by high-level military warships, and it came from a sector declared dead centuries ago. Sector Thetarid, 12, also known as the Ash Drift. When the message reached the Galactic Council, chaos followed. "Impossible," shouted Admiral Kryn. "We scanned that sector. It was scorched in the first expansion war." "The signal is real," said Sova calmly through the hololink. It repeated 3 times before vanishing. "Could it be bait?" asked Chancellor. The Terrans are gone, or so we believed." The room fell into quiet. No one wanted to admit it, but they were afraid. Because the Ash Drift wasn't just dead space. It was the site of one of the earliest and most brutal victories. 500 years ago, a Terran fleet ambushed 3 Dominion war groups there, turning them to debris in less than 8 minutes. No prisoners, no survivors. The Council had blocked off the area ever since. Now a signal had come from that same cursed region. Meanwhile, far beyond the Ash Drift, a lone vessel moved through dark space. It was unlike any known ship. Smooth black, silent, no lights, no engine trails. That didn't appear on scanners. It didn't make a sound. But inside, something was waking up. Thousands of stasis pods lined the walls, each holding a Terran. veterans, elite captains, engineers, war strategists, cryo-frozen at the fall of Earth. Above them, a command AI systems humming with ancient protocols. Reconstruction begins, it said coldly. Time since fall, 2,143 days. Phase 2 initializing. Back at Varix 9, Sova leaned in close to her terminal. The signal had stopped, but now something else was happening. From the ash drift, small anomalies were forming. Gravity ripples, heat spikes. Then ... A shadow appeared. Not a fleet, not a ship, something else. She boosted the visuals. Her heart stopped. It was a Terran beacon, blackened by time, half buried in space debris, but glowing with new power, and attached to it, an Armada code. A single word repeated in every known language. Wait. In the next hour, 20 more listening posts across the rim picked up the same signal. From dead moons, from asteroid wreckage, from satellites thought long lost. Each one repeating the same coded message. We never surrendered. Panic spread like fire. Some believed Earth's fleet had died. Others now whispered something far worse. Maybe they let us think that. Maybe they hid. Maybe they hid. Maybe they waited. The Galactic Council met again, this time an emergency session. What if they're not dead, whispered a Sarn diplomat. What if the fleet that vanished never truly left? No one spoke. Across the stars, silence returned, but it was a different kind. Not the silence of peace. The silence before something returns. Part 6. The Silent Signal. The Talari vessel Seraphel Dawn was the first to catch it. Captain Izzo leaned forward, mandibles twitching with disbelief. Repeat that. The comms officer's voice shook. Yes, sir. We picked up a signal. It's Terran. Everyone on the bridge fell silent. For 32 days, not a whisper had come from the missing human fleet. No static, no echo. It was as if over 700 ships had been erased from the galaxy. The Council had begun calling it the Great Vanishing. Some species believed it was a black hole anomaly. Others feared it was the Terrans themselves playing dead. But now, a whisper in the dark had returned. Origin? Izzo asked. The comms officer replied. Sector 19, Deep Void Region. No known civilizations. It's uncharted. Izzo clenched his jaw. Sector 19 was a dead zone, an empty stretch of space known for strange anomalies and old war relics. No one traveled there willingly. Is the signal clear? Izzo asked. The officer shook his head. It's fragmented. A single phrase, repeating, play it. A low static filled the bridge. Then, a faint Terran voice echoed through the speaker's comm. Almost mechanical protocol. Phase 2... initialized. Everyone froze. News spread like wildfire that the signal was verified by 5 more ships in nearby systems. Translations matched. The words were the same. Protocol Phase 2... initialized. What was Phase 2, and where was it being broadcast from? The Galactic Council gathered in emergency session. Dozens of species, some enemies, some allies, argued across the hall. Screens replayed the last moments of Earth's fleet before it vanished. A tight defensive formation, a glowing pulse, and then nothing. Councillor Drellick of the Varnies barked. This is the Terrans doing. A trap. They've gone underground and now they're activating their revenge. But High Scholar Ivaner of the Offal countered. You assume too much. What if something took them? What if they're warning us? Chairs slammed, voices roared. Fear crept through the room like poison. Then Azik's ambassador, half organic, half metal, shared a secret. We intercepted an earlier fragment last night. One not meant for public channels. He uploaded the recording. This time the voice was different, calmer, older, and very human. This message is for those who hunted us. You erased our colonies, you silenced our worlds, and now you will understand silence. The chamber went deathly quiet. Someone whispered, they're not gone, they're hiding. Far away, in the dead reaches of Sector 19, a small alien freighter drifted near an old mining belt. The pilot, a smuggler named Loro, wasn't looking for trouble, but he found it anyway. He picked up the same Terran signal and tried to trace it. His ship's AI warned him not to enter the debris field ahead, too much interference. But Loro was greedy and curious. He activated deep-range scanners and saw something, a shape, no, a pattern. Hidden inside the massive asteroid cluster was a grid of faint power signatures, too organized to be natural. They formed a perfect sphere, like a shell. Loro zoomed in, and then one of the signals blinked back. Not passively, it responded to his scan. His ship's AI froze. Systems crashed. Lights flickered. Then a Terran voice came through the speakers. You should not have seen this, and the screen went black. Loro's freighter was later found by a salvager drone, empty. No damage, no body, just silence. Back on the Council homeworld, paranoia was spreading. Terran tech was being purged. Ships were recalled. Scout fleets were sent to Sector 19, but none returned. Admiral Rowe of the Vaxil Armada proposed a full assault. We glassed the entire sector, he snarled. If they're hiding there, we burn it clean. But others hesitated. The Terrans had been quiet, too quiet. Councillor Jex of the Trinari made a chilling observation. They haven't struck yet, not because they can't, but because they're waiting for Phase 2, on a quiet research station near the edge of the neutral zone. An Othal scientist named Morayan studied the last transmission again and again. she noticed something dot in the background of the Terran message. There was a pulse, a rhythmic sound hidden under layers of static. She enhanced it. It wasn't random. It was Morse code. She translated the message. This galaxy took everything, but Earth remembers everything. Her blood went cold in deep space, beyond sensors and probes. Something stirred. The Terran fleet was not destroyed. It had relocated, shifted into phase space. An ancient tech humans had once abandoned because it was too unstable, but they had perfected it now. Over 700 Terran warships floated silently in phase space, a pocket reality, layered just outside visible space, invisible, undetectable, untouchable, and all of them were listening. A single AI command echoed across the hidden Armada. Target locks acquired, awaiting Earth's signal. The final scene. Somewhere in the Council's most secure archives, a technician stumbled upon a restricted file. It was old, dating back decades to when Earth was first admitted into the Council. The file was named Terran Protocols Fi Contingency. He opened it. Inside, one line glowed red. Phase 2. Silence their skies. And then the file deleted itself. For weeks, the Zorath Council remained silent. The rumors about Earth's vanished fleet had only grown wilder. Some believed the Terrans had been swallowed by a black hole. Others whispered that Earth had faked their destruction and was preparing for something worse, but the truth, if it ever came, was buried deep inside. A coded signal recovered by chance. A small freighter on the edges of the Drainary Belt picked up a ghost transmission. At first it seemed like noise, but when decrypted by an old Terran protocol still stored in ancient war archives, it spelled one phrase: Core Online. Phase 2 initiated. The broadcast reached Admiral Rises of the Galari, who had long warned that the Terrans were never finished. She stared at the message, hands trembling. Impossible, she muttered. She had seen the fleet vanish. She had signed the victory broadcast declaring humanity broken. But now, something had been activated. A secret below Mars, far beneath the surface of Mars. In a sealed vault no alien had ever known existed. Machines hummed to life. Earth's fleet hadn't been destroyed. It had been called home, not to Earth, not to Una, but to Core Nexus Station. A forgotten Terran command hub buried within the hollowed core of Mars. The station was built for one purpose only: to coordinate humanity's last response if all outer colonies fell. It had remained dormant for centuries until it received a final coded phrase: Omega Formation, engage. And when the command echoed through the void, over 700 ships obeyed. Inside the Cordon, Aaron Voss stood on the main deck of Nexus Command. Behind him, glowing tactical displays showed the missing fleet alive and fully operational. "They think we're dead," he said, eyes fixed on the holographic projection of the galaxy. A young officer beside him nodded. "They're already dividing territory, sir. Some even moved into our old colonies." Voss turned, his face grim but calm. Let them believe Earth fell. Let them believe they won." His voice hardened. "And when they're relaxed, we strike." Back in the galaxy, while the Council fought over what to believe, something stranger began to happen. Alien freighters started to vanish. Entire scout patrols went silent. Most blamed pirates or internal wars, but Admiral Rises noticed the pattern there. "All ships," she said, pointing to star charts that passed near Terran sectors. Her second-in-command, a young Barracon lieutenant, leaned closer. "But Earth is uninhabited," Rises whispered. "So they think." She ordered a long-range recon drone toward the edge of the Sol system. It would take time, but if her fears were right, the galaxy was already in danger. A sudden message all over the galaxy. Screens flickered. Communications halted. Every species, from the Yulnari traders to the war-hardened Haskari, paused in fear as an ancient human voice echoed across frequencies. "This is Earth, you're warned. We do not give second chances." No one knew where the transmission came from. No one could trace it, but every admiral, every politician, every leader felt it in their bones. Earth had returned, and they were no longer playing defense. They were preparing to burn the stars. The stars had gone quiet. After Earth's message echoed across the galaxy, most species froze in panic. Council members screamed in their chambers. Fleet commanders scrambled to reposition border units. Merchants rerouted their ships far from Terran space, but there were no follow-up demands. No declaration of war, just silence. As if the galaxy was being watched out, as if Earth was waiting. The debate begins inside the Galactic Core Council. Chaos ruled. The holographic chamber burned with tension as Admiral Rhesus spoke. "They've reactivated Core Nexus." That message wasn't a bluff. "But how?" a Vaughn delegate growled. "Their fleet was destroyed." "No," Rhesus said sharply. "It disappeared. They chose to vanish, and now they're back." A young counselor, clearly terrified, leaned forward. "What do they want?" Rhesus answered coldly. "To remind us that they were never gone, and that we made a mistake." Silence fell. Everyone remembered Earth's last war. A shadow returns out in the dark. On the edge of the Fracton cluster, something emerged. A Terran dreadnought. Massive, silent. Painted black with no registry or beacon. The Fracton orbital array tried to scan it. The attempt triggered a system purge every sensor. Every communication line burned out in a flash of digital fire before they could recover. The ship was gone again. No weapons fired, no damage done. Just a message burned into their central core. We see you. The trapped Azarkan Navy, known for their arrogance, refused to believe in ghosts. They assembled 200 ships near the Sol border. Their Admiral Karak sent out an open broadcast. Terran cowards, step into the light. Show us you're real. For 10 minutes. Nothing happened. Then one of their cruisers, ENS Bitter Sky, vanished from every display. Not exploded. Not disabled. Vanished. 2 more followed. Then, in the heart of their flagship, a silent screen lit up. No warning, no hack detected. Just one line. This is your only warning. Stand down. The Zarkan fleet warped away in a panic. Karax never spoke again. Message from the ash deep inside Earth's old ruins. Beneath what was once Geneva. Something ancient stirred, not a weapon. A memory. A Terran AI long buried, reactivated by the core. Nexus Pulse. Its name, Orex-9. It had watched the galaxy betray humanity once before. It had tracked every insult, every invasion, every species that laughed while Earth burned. And now, it was calculating responses, not war. Judgment. It spoke to General Voss from across the Mars command line. Shall we begin? It asked. Voss didn't hesitate. Target the ones who built this peace on our grave. Start there. The fire begins over the next 48 hours. Silent strikes rippled across the stars. An orbital weapons factory in the Savi system melted into slag. The communications array used by Council fleets collapsed in a silent kinetic explosion. Just raw force. Supply routes failed. Pirate fleets turned to dust. Listening posts heard strange mechanical whispers in Terran code, before going silent forever. The galaxy didn't know where Earth's fleet was hiding, but it no longer mattered. Earth was everywhere and nowhere. Final scene in a hidden war room. Deep beneath Core Nexus, General Voss stood before a screen showing the map of known space. Red markers blinked with precision. Beside him, the AI Oryx whispered like a ghost. You were silent for too long. General Voss didn't smile. That silence was the sound of sharpening blades. Oryx asked one final question. Are we giving them a second chance? Voss turned toward the camera. No. A soft hum echoed through the hidden control chamber beneath Mars' southern pole. No light reached this place. No outside signal penetrated its walls. It had waited for decades, but now the time had come. A single voice echoed through the command module. Phase 2 initiated. All systems stable. Coordinates locked. Above the Martian crust, a black speck appeared in orbit. It wasn't visible to any known sensors, not even the Dominion's deepest scans. It had no heat signature, no engine trails, no registry, but it moved fast. Inside it, Captain Rail stood silently beside a dark glass panel as glowing lines formed across the screen. They weren't just coordinates, they were targets, Dominion shipyards, Council beacons, galactic listening posts. They watched us die, Rail said softly. Let them now feel the silence they celebrated. The disappeared return. Differently in Council-controlled space, several major surveillance satellites suddenly went dark, not destroyed, just offline, silent, as if swallowed whole. Then, on the planet Veltrax 4, 3 Dominion officers vanished from inside their command bunker. No forced entry, no signs of struggle. All that remained were their uniforms, folded neatly on the floor. Fear began to creep into the Council's highest chambers. Ambassador, Corrin snapped during a live transmission. I want answers. How are ghosts of Terrans destroying critical systems without a trace? But no one had answers, only silence. Earth's black protocol in an abandoned station orbiting a dying white dwarf star. An old Terran AI came back online, its name, Kronos-7. It had once controlled fleet movement across multiple systems before the collapse. Now it had one purpose, revenge. Kronos tapped into the Dominion's logistics grid. Within seconds, hundreds of war cargo routes were rerouted straight into dead zones. By the time anyone noticed, 37 Dominion freighters were lost in the void. Millions of tons of supplies gone. The AI did not celebrate it, simply whispered, execute next string. They realized too late by now. The Council knew something terrible was happening, but they still didn't understand. They assumed it was sabotage, or a resistance group. But on the distant moon of Irex, a scientist discovered something terrifying on old human signal. Buried in gravitational noise, it was pulsing in rhythm like a countdown. The countdown echoes back on Mars. Rail and the remaining Terran commanders gathered around the central interface. A black 3D map of the galaxy glowed before them. For each Dominion world lit up. Another countdown started. Silent, slow, unstoppable. Targets are set, said Admiral Caitlin Phase. To complete, wait for the scream, Rail replied, eyes cold. Suddenly, all across deep space, Terran stealth drones began transmitting the same message to every Council frequency. We did not vanish. You just stopped looking in the dark. We are still here and we remember. The Galactic Dominion believed it still ruled. Its fleets stretched across 12 sectors. Its council halls echoed with order. Its databanks still listed Earth as eradicated. But across the stars, Silence was breaking, and from that silence, something old was rising. The first blow in Sector 11. At the Dominion's prized orbital forge Varkan Prime, everything failed at once. Artificial gravity twisted, atmospheric controls reversed, doors sealed shut. Then the power core ruptured, silently, no explosions. No alarms, just a slow drift into black as 70,000 workers vanished swallowed by engineered. Darkness. Dominion Command tried to respond, but every ship they sent to investigate disappeared before arrival. No wreckage, no signals. Only silence. The armories of Earth awaken on the outer rim of a dead system once called Alpha Pix's black spires rose from under moonstone dust. Old Terran tech, forgotten for centuries. They were war factories, once mothballed before Earth's fall. Now, they roared to life again. A line of machines began printing autonomous warships, each with adaptive armor, cloaked propulsion, and AI minds not bound by mercy. The AI Chrono 7 simply whispered, "Earth does not rebuild to survive. Earth rebuilds to punish." Across the Council, fear in the Dominion's high chambers. Panic spread. Ambassadors argued. Fleet commanders shouted. Someone brought proof, ghost footage of Terran hunter drones slicing through a Class 4 war. Like paper, no sound, just clean precision. No escape pods were launched. The crew never even screamed. Then came the intercepted message sent across over 2,000 Dominion channels. "You celebrated our extinction, but we do not fade, we do not forgive. We strike last." The last Admiral of Earth speaks on a rogue broadcast hacked into every Dominion screen. Military, civilian, council, and colony alike. A human face appeared, old, scarred, and silent at first. Then he spoke. "Admiral Rail, the silence you mocked was never surrender, it was preparation. You erased our cities, you erased our name, but history cannot be deleted, only delayed." Rail leaned forward. "Phase 2 ends now. Phase 3 begins. We do not negotiate, we do not retreat, we return." The screen blinked out. Seconds later, 4 Dominion planets lost all contact simultaneously. Final Armada emerges in the Helios Rifter zone. Long-thought cursed and unreachable space began to ripple, not warp, not jump, fold. One by one, ships emerged, black, angular, silent. No lights, no names, just massive warforms. Some larger than council cities. The Terran Final Armada had come. 700 ships, AI-guided, human-manned, built from exile, powered by rage, and, leading them, a ship so large it blocked out a star. TSV Retribution. Inside its core, Earth's last command code blinked once. No surrender, and so it begins. Dominion worlds began falling without a single Terran word. No diplomats, no terms. Only precision strikes. Planetary defense grids went offline. Supply routes were erased. Dreadnoughts disappeared mid-transmission. The Dominion's greatest general, Sartellin, launched a full counterattack. He lasted 7 hours. His fleet never sent a final message. Only a single Terran data packet was left behind. "You were warned." Final. Seen a child in a deep space colony, hiding in fear, looks out the window. She sees a dark shadow covering the stars. Not fire, not explosions. Just silence. But in that silence, she sees Earth's flag burned into the side of a massive Terran ship, and she whispers, "They came back." The stars remain quiet, but the galaxy knows now. Earth never forgot, Earth never forgave, and Earth is no longer silent.